the outside, I mean, it looks like a warehouse in the middle of a small town. You wouldn't even know it was here. But on the inside, Rad Rides builds the coolest cars on the planet. And all of it's thanks to one man's vision.
We've had a lot of success here over the years, and a lot of it is having the right customer. In '96, I met George Poteet. He was the first customer to come in here and let us have no boundaries.
Been on the cover of Hot Rod magazine more than any other builder in the United States.
All the good guys, Customer Rod of the Year, Street Rod of the Year, Hot Rod Car of the Year a couple times. We're not really out for the awards anymore. It's more to build the car because we enjoy doing it and showing people how we create things.
Troy's the best builder in the world, but he's never built a race car before.
Got a phone call from George one day. You need your name in the history books out there. 69 CUDA Bonneville salt flat car, salt flat car, salt flat car. So we wanted to do something, you know, as trick as a car. 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 horsepower, depending on how hard we spin it. Why not do a four-cylinder? Get the car to 300.
Make this the fastest door slammer car ever on the salt.
The car was really going along good. We were on track and started putting it back together, the final assembly stuff. Still had a pretty good time. And then we kind of run into a snag. Probably the biggest hang-up is getting it wired.
I wasn't sleeping really well.
There's no way my dad can crawl in there and do anything.
I know there was no way that Jack wanted to wire that car.
Rad Rides.
Jackie.
Hey, Zimmy, what are you doing, buddy?
What's going on, man?
I was the main wiring guy at Rad Rides.
So Jared used to work here.
I was looking at coming back to work for you.
Oh, really?
I mean, he came back like at the right time. Wire the CUDA.
So I thought I would just go right back to work. Hey, buddy friend.
Oh, it's Chief, all right, Al. When he called wanting to come back, that was a fun time because Jared was the one that I bragged the most when he was here. Yeah. Look who's lost, Al. It's old movie star pants here. Because he could take it. Well, Al replaced you, so you're going to have to go back to cutting my grass like you started.
All right. Oh, this sucks. Troy has a habit of making things difficult.
He needed a little initiation. We couldn't make him feel too welcome without rubbing him a little ways because he left us.
So with all that out of the way, it's time to wire the car. Crush! I was working again, but I still didn't feel like part of the team. Troy! What? Have a shirt? Nope.
He kept giving me a hard time, want my shirt back, so everything I always did with him, I made him beg a little bit.
So why is he wearing a Lanzini shirt in there? Well, probably because you haven't given me one Rad Ride shirt to wear.
I thought I had a good idea. I'll, go upstairs and get a lady's V-neck.
Yeah. Here you go, buddy.
Well, I got a girl one?
Put it on.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
That's where you got to start, right, Dan? You got to wear the girl shirt for a day?
Because I know he'll wear it.
Come get you some of this. Yeah! Yeah! I should have done my sit-ups this morning.
And only he could pull that off. I mean, it was awesome to see.
So I let them have their fun, and I finally got a shirt. I hope it was all worth it because
Blazoo's in there finishing up the wiring. Just smashed his fucking noggin off. I love it. I love it.
I'd hate to say I wired the Blowfish, and all I got was his Rad Ride shirt. The next step, dyno. Sounds simple, right? Or not.
When you're trying to make 1,200 horsepower out of a four-cylinder, it ain't easy.
With a few engine tweaks, we got the thing making some serious steam. We didn't even push it, and the thing still made 1,000 horsepower at 8,500 RPM. That's churning some butter.
The one last big step is to fire it up in the shop.
That is one badass four-cylinder. We were all happy with the way it sounded, but Troy went nuts.
Really?
Finally, it was time to go to the salt.
Ready to roll this morning? I'm ready. All right, let's get it going.
The hardest part about being at Bonneville the first 3 days was waiting. So you're seeing all this stuff run and some go fast.
And in the last mile, 334.839 kind of blasts that 3079 record.
Some wreck. You're just racing all this stuff through your mind. We know we brought it there prepared, but you just don't know. It's the unexpected. Our first step was to get the car to tech and make sure it was legal.
When you show up with a car like the Cuda, they're going to come after it, with everything they got.
We started out with 2 inspectors, which is how it's supposed to be per car, and we ended up with about 10 or 12.
They were in shifts.
Didn't find too much, just a lot of little piddly things that we think are fine. We got to add some hose clamps to some of these hoses, which there's no way they could ever blow off. And we need a battery box. 2 tech inspectors at the end pulled us off to the side and said it was one of the nicest engineered cars they'd ever seen, so that was kind of nice. So now we just have to replace these pieces and then have them come over here and re-inspect it, so then we'll be good and they'll certify it.
Or so we thought.
Man, it just knocks your socks off.
Thank you. Just gotta make her go now.
That is so slick looking. Is that a celebrity over there?
We were waiting in line for our first pass. This guy walks up and he's messing with the car, and so Adam and I went over and just asked if we could help him because there's some stranger fooling the car, and he said no, he was helping us, and we said with what? And he said the car hadn't passed tech. I said, well, yeah, it has.
We're in line with a guy that used to be on the board.
And he decided we needed more netting or we weren't going to run.
So now here we are in line trying to fix something again.
We followed the rules again and we made the netting.
Finally, we were allowed to make our first run.
We piddled with it for 3 days, just double checking, triple checking everything, and pretty nervous.
Time to stop talking. See if it's got any balls. I know I do.
And once we actually finally got in line, I wasn't as nervous because it's like, you know what, it's gonna, I know it's gonna run, and we just got to see what it can do.
You got way too much complicated looking shit in here. I'd be scared to get in this one.
He'd never even heard the engine run. Can you hit her? He kind of looked over at me with his eyes. At that point, I wasn't nervous at all. Then they start reading off the times over the radio. And then the next number was 236. You just couldn't get down there fast enough to talk to George and just say, hey, what do you think?
We're okay. Let's just hit her. You're going 236, George.
Son of a gun. You never expected it on the 3 mile to run that fast. I mean, it's got goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
I know it's just header.
Okay.
I knew it was header. I stayed in it.
All right.
I can't breathe.
It was a big relief